All right, guys. Umoya light, Umoya bright. That took a little bit of a while. Welcome. I see you already in the room. I'm going to live stream over to Berlin now, and we thank you to Mama Kanyi's daughter, Dimashengu, who is doing the video rising for us tonight on the Moya podcast. So let me just add
Activism for social and economic justice. Her academic credentials include honors, masters, and PhD degrees. Tshabalala is the first female admiral in the South African Navy. Yes. She's also a former liberation combatant. Recent works include the book project, Let African Spirituality Stand Up and Be Counted. She's coming to us from South Africa. Please welcome her. Diana? Diana. We find Diana for you.
We'll find
her now.
and we need it. Yeah, because I don't think so the space your heart is there for whatever comes. So she has to come. Bear with us. If you like to Diana. So I think to quicken this, they might just grab another consent today. Ask scrap it inside because we will wait for the whole night. And we don't have them. Have a lighter. Oh, okay. So, African spirituality is based on the four elements of nature, which we need to perform to make this space. The first one is water. We call like also bring the wind. And then we have what there is the soil, which is now then Diana will give us the honors of community. So that's the fire, that's the smoke, that stands for vegetation, but it's also incense that purifies. It has to, because I don't have control of what's going to come out here tonight. When they invited me, they said, send us the presentation. I said, I'm afraid I can't do that. I myself don't know. I never know what I'm going to talk about because I am not the message is not mine there. And because I'm mixed race, this is for the Litchfield. They are a mix of Scottish and English. So this is me. Having done this, touch the mind because I don't speak my Thank you so much. Thank you very much. What we rooted, and he called it how Europe underdeveloped Africa. 30 years down the line, ancestral knowledge tells me we should amend the title of that book and call it How the 1% that came into the world in the form of white made Europe underdeveloped. Now, I don't know if you're sitting here tonight and you're human or you're not human, because we have a lot of non-humans in this world. And they constitute that 1%. Now, they didn't only make Europe underdeveloped Africa. When they came on Earth, they colonized something called epistemology. That's big. Because epistemology is how you gather knowledge. It's what you define as knowledge. So if your lens of what constitutes knowledge is already colonized, then we are in trouble. Now, I'm not in my message yet. There are just some liberations that must go on here. I love my ancestors. That's why they don't prepare, because they respond to what happened before. So there are some liberations that must take place before we come to the message. A lady stood here and spoke, and I mean very passionately. She said, I don't even know my heritage. She said, I'm ashamed that we are coming to Germany with such an active history, and we are doing all of these things that we are. The lady is right, but the lady's epistemology somewhere is skewed. So I am here to tell you, it's not only Africa that was colonized. Europeans, you were colonized by the 1%, in case you're not aware. And if we must repatriate, we need to bring the truth back to the table. Can I ask you, Germans, who asked you to take the full blame of the Second World War and kick yourselves to the ground all the time that topic comes up? Who taught you that? Because listen to what my ancestral knowledge is saying. I was a guerrilla for about 12 years. Then I was in the Navy for another 10, 11 years. So I'm trained in all. And I can tell you, no money, no war. Now I have a question to you, Jen. Who funded it? Have you ever stopped to think? Jewish banks funded Hitler. In case you never thought that far. They funded the Axis powers, they funded the Allied powers. Jewish banks funded Hitler to kill Jews. Who's paying reparations? Germany, the country, or the banks that are still going on? Because the banks are still on and we know them. You have Chase Morgan, you have the Rothschild, you have the Rockefeller, they are still alive. Now, I don't know about you, but there's some liberation that must go on. And my ancestors are saying tonight, liberate yourselves, Germans. What a spade a spade. I have another question to you. Who asked you to pay millions of dollars to the state of Israel to kill Palestinians? And you call that reparations, but you have not paid the same reparations to the Herero. Who asked you? Were you there when that was there? The 1%. If you're sitting here and you're still convinced that they are human, there's some liberation that must come. Because trust me, they practiced with you. You were the guinea pigs. They took you out of spirituality and they fed you religion, which is Christianity. And they practiced the terms with you, the hidden. They practiced with you. You think the era of the Inquisition just happened. The 1% was at work. And can I tell you, they followed the same pattern that they did. They first took the white woman out, and then they empowered the maid, and they told the maid, you are let free as you wish, and you know what the maid. And the rest is history. We have the slave trade, there's colonization, and. Now, if that is the issue, I want to ask you, are we ever going to repatriate if we are not calling out the 1%? Or here's the third liberation that must, when we come to the message, do you for a second see yourself and think that the rise of the far right in Europe is a coincidence? There are no coincidences when it comes to the 1%. They are the master planners. They just for the 100 year plan of nothing but evil, and they will speak. They will have every year they will need to see to evaluate. They have 5-year intervention plans, nothing but pure evil. So now they know that you are waking up. Now they know you are beginning to see and ask yourself, but who are these people? So now they can't take you back to racism, which is where they took you. They can't take you to the slave trade. So where are they taking you now? The rise of the far right. It's not just the German thing, the European problem. Somebody's funding it. Now, some liberation must go on it before we start this thing. Can we dim these lights a bit too right in here for deliverance and for Africans spirituality? A little bit, this spells down. A little bit more. Yeah, we want people to be honest. We want people to concentrate on themselves and not on their neighbor or on me. I'm just a voice. A little bit more. Thank you. Now, every white woman, can you put your hand on you right now? And close your eyes. Just put your hand on your head. Because we are not repatriating for as long as the white woman does not realize she is followed. Along with the whole race of white. By the way, there was also a date and time when the term white came onto the planet. When you were Germanic people, which my paternal English, the Litchfield were, when my maternal of the Litchfield were the Celtic or the Celts, sometimes they call it, it is the women who are in charge of spirituality. It was not the men. The men have never been in charge of spirituality. In the origin of humankind, it is the 1%. We don't know where they come from, but we know that wherever they come from, it is the men that are in charge, and the woman is a person. Now put your hand on your womb, right? There is a term in Nguni language in South Africa. Zulu Coastal Development is one. It's called Inimba. Inima. Only women have Inimba. And we can't explain Inimba because it doesn't matter if you have given birth or not. Every woman has Inimba. It is psychological, it is spiritual, it is maternal, it creates, it is justice, it is everything a woman should be. Put your hand on that womb, right? Ask yourself a genuine. Close your eyes because if you don't, you're robbing. And ask yourself a question that we in Africa asking ourselves. What was Africa before? Now ask yourself. Somebody here said, I don't have a date. What was Germany before Germany was Germany? And don't tell me about this man. You people predate this man. You were here before this. Now put that hand on that womb and ask yourself, what were we before we were made into the dust, the races, the scum of the earth? We are told we started the First World War, we started the Second World War. We are told we are far right, we are what were you before the 1% came with all that nonsense? What did your people do? Because the root is through Ineba, right? Then rise and take your rightful place. Because if you don't rise, we can't repatriate in Africa without you. It cannot be a half-done job. Now I'm going to give you a moment. Just shut up and allow you to just put that head for a few minutes. Just put it, Diana, just come and bend the incense away. Just put your there, white woman, and just go back. Go back. Pre-European, pre-Christian, pre-capitalist, pre-imperialist Europe. Your people were killed. They never defined themselves as white. They never even defined themselves as European. They were not white supremacists. They were in spirituality. Take the journey. Just for a few minutes. Make that journey. Not an easy journey, but what I love about ancestors, they can hear you. You are sitting here, you are thousand people. Leave the last 4 or 5 generations. They drop the confusion. I don't speak to them. Go beyond. You have a choice. Go beyond. Go beyond. Now, I'll tell you a story. Because I'm Litchfield and my mother is young. Still keep your eyes closed. I never spoke to the Litchfields at my home house. I only dealt with Africa. We have been doing also because Europeans don't have us. We don't talk to them. So I never talked to the Litchfields, and I can tell you from throughout my childhood, about 10 years ago, I always had a dream where I was there close to this one. And I will be talking and everybody will be listening, literally eating out of it. And then suddenly I would look at myself naked. And when I look across the room, my clothes would be on the other side of the room. This dream bothered me so much. Until one day sitting at my altar, I realized, okay, but I don't talk to the last 5 generations of my African ancestors because of the confusion and the mixing of quality of other. I go beyond. Then I thought, I can also go beyond for the kids. I don't need to speak to the colonialists and the I can just go beyond and speak to those who are in the health people, the demand people, money or whoever. By the way, the nations of Europe, as they sit here today, were not some trouble. The day I started to those rich people, does it say to you, white people? Yeah, we are all white people. It tells me that you do have access. They are waiting and watching for action. Just remove the last 5 minutes. Connect with the so I think I'll leave you with that in terms of delivery. This wasn't part of what was planned. It's just my ancestors felt uncomfortable when a woman stood and said, "No heritage." You have a heritage. Just leave the negative. Now, let's get to the topic. African spirituality. Wow, that's a big topic. I'm being asked right now to greet people and say Sanibonani. And I'm sure there are those who, if they were out there, late, this is a game. If you ask a today's person, what does Sanibonani? They will tell you it means hello, it means good morning, it means no. They are not understanding the multi-dimensional and intersectional way in which African spirituality informed the total way of life. Sanibonani in Zulu is not equivalent in English because it's not greeting the person. Sanibonani for starters is in plural. Sanibonani means we see you. I, the speaker, tells you we see you. Why do I say we see you? Because I understand that you carry with you thousands and thousands of them. I'm not seeing you alone. I like the response of the respondent. When I say Sanibonani, they say, yeah, but which is yes. So they are agreeing that we are seeing us and all the people are. I like the next way that we create. I then say, Ninja, how are you? There's not this nonsense of I'm well, I am. That's what in proper Zulu they don't say. In proper Zulu they say Siko. I love that. It means we are present in this. Me and the ancestors that I work with are present in this. Siko. We are here. Now that's African spirituality. African spirituality, if it was not destroyed, we would not even be talking about matriation because it was matriated by its nature. How did it do that? It did that through two things. First, it centered the woman as the center of the. Two, it decentralized the law. So we never had a law in African spirituality, and I speak, and when I say this, I say it boldly because I'm not even speaking for South Africa. For the African spiritual countries one here, they will tell you it's the same in their country. We never had a penal law, a law that's the statute number, so let's not statute number. The law was infused in all social systems. That's what African spirituality. That's why we call it Kulungisa. Kulungisa is a constant act of balancing. It is not a once-off. We go to court, the law is done, now we go to psychology, now we go to mathematics. No. It was infused in everything. How did it manage to center the women? Because it's beautiful. The religions of the book. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, it's very hard to center the women. And I'll tell you why it's hard to center the women, because we have gone and disclosed the gender of God. If we have gone and made God a man, why do you think men have got so much power? Think of it. If you were men, and God was a man, and Jesus was a man, and the disciples were men, and the 8 disciples, the first disciples, and the Catholic Church, the biggest church in the world, why would people think of this? It's just psychological. In African spirituality, we do not know the gender and not know the God or the originator. It is undisclosed. And you know how easy it is not to disclose it? Because we don't have gender. Oh, I must be quick and tell you, these are the languages that Hegel said. It's unintelligible sound. It's not a language. But these are the languages that have gender equality. You know, that's why when Africans speak English, especially, I don't know what they're saying. But Africans who speak English, they say, Tom, she went to the shop. And then they say, oh no, Mary, he was here. And then people say, no, it's a here. She can say, leave them alone. They are TNJ, they are not wired like that. We don't have history. We track on that thing so much. And then these languages that they've given after they when you were Germanic, I mean, I'm interested in the language of my maternal, the Litchfield, the Scotch, what's the language? What they call it? Dialect. And see if there was gender drama. These languages they come to give you are so horrible. In some of them, even the past tense is better than women. You greet a man in a certain way. Thank you. It's gender demarcated. No, we are not going to rematch it until we call this out the table. We all need a return. It's not just us. You need a return to who you were before you were. We made it to what. So because we don't have gender drama, Africans begin to center them. And how do they define the women? I love this part because in the book I wrote, the first one, by the way, Let African Spirituality Stand and Talk for Itself is my second book. The first one is the Untold Story of African women. My conclusion in that chapter is that the African women lost them most through because in pre-colonial, and when I say pre-colonial, please understand, I go as far as I go to an era Europe calls antiquity because there was no whiteness. There's no antiquity for us. We were already on earth and we were forming and reforming like this. Now, in pre-colonial Africa, the African woman was defined as a procreator. That's power. That's balancing. That's woman's. Procreator because she can bring life. And then Christianity and Islam comes, what do we call you? I like it in the King James English. The dialer of men, the deceiver of men. Can you believe it? You fall from being a procreator to being a deceiver. That's what we're called. And then you still have verses like, let the woman learn in silence. Women can't teach men. In African spirituality, after they defined the woman as the procreator, they then decided the woman only and only the woman can deal with culture. Because of inimba and the womb, if the woman touches the soil, her fertility will rub onto the soil. But if the man touches the soil, the ground will go barren, because if you pour semen on the ground, in 5 minutes it has dried, the ends have eaten it and it's gone. There was sanity in the madness. The Arabs first came in 639. Oh, it's another truth we must liberate. There was a slave trade by the Arabs here, and there was colonization by the Arabs. I know it's only lambasted. But they were the first to come and say, look at these lazy African men sitting around when their women are tilling the land. They did not understand our spirituality. They didn't understand the sanity. The European came in 1400, the Portuguese and the Spanish first, and they joined the chorus. The stereotype, my brother, about you days and all the other nations comes from the misunderstanding of our spirituality. But because we control agriculture, it means we control the markets. That's why African markets are still in the hand of the women. And because we control the markets, we control the seeds. So you would not oppress somebody that controls your seed bank. That was power, that was a constant act of balancing. Because African spirituality knew that when it comes to physical strength, you'll get 1 or 2 women who can match the men, but most of us can't. So bring the balance so that each gender needs the other. Now, African spirituality in politics also. See, there's a lot of confusion in South Africa now with this nation who are actually in South Africa. If you destroy Zulu people, the whole country is gone. There's a lot of confusion in that royal family. Where is Indlovu? The direct translation is she elephant. I know white people who came and didn't understand. They wrote it as Queen Mother. That's an insult. Because in African spirituality, a Queen Mother is not a woman who gave the person on the throne. A Queen Mother is the keeper of the national altar. It's a bigger task. The defense of the nation is on you. To keep the nation going is on you. When things are going wrong, they don't ask the people that on the throne. They come. They say, oh, things are not going right. That's why if you go to the only surviving monarchy in Africa now, guess what? And you look at the government buildings, it is not King Mswati's photo on top. It is the she elephant's photo on top. Then he's underneath. He's in charge of the physical reality, the war and whatever. She's in charge of the unseen, the continuity and the defense and the safety of the nation. And I think we need to clap for Swati women right now because they've kept that protected. That's with all the attacks from the 1% and the imperialist attacks, they have kept that intact. If I'm in South Africa and I want to consult a proper CA, I still say I need to do SWAT. They kept it intact. Now, that was agriculture, that was politics. There's another important thing African spirituality gave to the intercession. So we never had churches. We never had a special day than other days of the week. Every day was the day for spirituality. So we had home altars. At the home altar, when I go and I do this and I start speaking to ancestors, the order cannot be reversed. I confess the grandmother and then I call the grandmother. And I'm sure it's my problem. And I like it because even the people from New Zealand, the Maori ever came at it, everybody kept telling me about the concept of a grandmother. In African spirituality, grandmother is a metaphysical concept. They read it, by the way, in Kemet, which was conquered by the Arabs and renamed Egypt. That's why Isis was the one who judged the deity. It's the same concept in all Africans. It is the grandmother that judges. Remember, we don't have heaven or hell. You must embrace spirituality, guys, and be yourselves. My God. Be good for the sake of goodness, not because you are trying to wait to heaven. It feels so good that you stop believing in heaven or hell. No, the words that comes off the shoulder. You can't think about it. Now, that's the concept of a grandmother. She was the encyclopedia of the nation. That's why she told stories after all the activities of the day. When people, before they go to sleep, she has to rehash their history, remind them of the spirituality. Her grandmother was such a golden symbol of the. Now I ask, who taught us that here? The 1%, they are the ones who taught us here. That's why I said, go back and find out your people, how they be, before you embrace what you. Oh, by the way, the era of the Inquisition. We must put it on the table. The Inquisition was made solely to take them. Remember, the men had committed. But you guys, you were still gazing at the stars. You were still doing stone team, and the Catholic Church was just like, yeah, we need these people all colonized so we can use them to colonize. The era of the Inquisition is a very painful history of what was done to white women. Crucified upside down, burned at stake sometimes from head up, just for looking at the full moon during full moon. Now, I'm saying we cannot repatriate until we all embrace the truth that we have a 1% of that's running the show. It set us apart at a certain point. You know, we hated each other because people say Europeans are colonizers. Like, yeah, but there's always the source. Me, I love ancestral myth because it always goes. So, with this knowledge, then, how do we go forward? How do we match it? First, we need to unite. Secondly, can I implore you all to look at a meeting? It used to take place every 5 years. It is your job to take place. It used to take place every 5 years, which is where the 5-year plans of stuff came. From there to the UN, then to the, which is the AU or EU. Now they meet every year. That is how agent taking over. Now they meet every year. The first meeting was held in Netherlands, in the town called Amsterdam. Oh, they still meet. If you think that's a story for children to fall asleep, wake up today as we are sitting here. Wake up. Look at their agenda. That's why I say the rise of the far right is not a mistake. Look at the agenda. We don't know what they discuss because these journalists, what do we call them? Journalists who work for themselves and press for the truth. Investigative journalists. Thank you, sister. The only thing they do, lay their hands on is the agenda. They don't keep minutes. I'm sure they do in their own way. Nobody has seen them, so we don't know what the discussions are. But we see the agenda. And I can tell you, I've studied them for the state years. In the last 10 years, the running item in the agenda has been how to destroy democracy. So you think the rise of the far right is a mistake? You are sitting here thinking we don't need each other. Oh, we are sitting here thinking, oh, Africa was colonized. No, you were used to colonize Africa after we colonized you. You could only colonize us because you yourself were colonized. So we need liberation, all of us. It's intersectional. It is at different levels, but we need liberation. You know, we are sitting here today, and I'm glad people at home, we are taping so they can hear this. You're sitting here so interested, listening to African spirituality. The bulk of Africans don't, excuse my language, but some things like that. They don't give a shit about African spirituality. They don't. They are first Muslim before they are Christian, before they are African. And then they are first Christian. So African spirituality is this far-fetched thing for them because they still hold on to the lie that the 4 generations that embraced this, whether by force or not by force, that the 4 generations that did them a favor. So we need liberation, all of us, not just us. And for those of you who can lay money, hands on money, please fund African spirituality project. Because it might be easier for you to go back and find out. Remember, ours were destroyed. Also, I was a captain museums. I like ancestors because you know this whole message of the 2 days is coming together. I was a captain in museums. So these things you keep in your museums, you go and look at every day. You are setting eyes on things you shouldn't be looking at some. Because they were not for public display. Those things come from national altars. Why do you think here as the Ashanti, when they captured her son, the king, and they said to her, she was there in national altar with healing for their king. She stood up and said, who will go and read the story, the speech. She gave him his story speech. She said, if you men cannot, but Hodgkins is not getting our national. In Ashanti, they call it the Sika. They buried it somewhere. Maybe it's not a mistake. Ghana was the first at the so-called independence because they unearthed it after independence. They buried. Hodgkins never found it. Why do you think Neander of Zimbabwe chose to be crucified? These are women. Chose to be crucified by Sisi John and to convert to Christianity as one of the leading spiritualists of the time because she understood this is a spiritual war. I know most people like Walter Rodney, they think, oh, they came for resources, or that's they want. This is spiritual. So nothing to do with economics or politics or whatever. The spiritual. That's why you must change your name. Oh, for 21 years of my life, I had Italian. Imagine you have called me tonight and they say, oh, we are going to listen to Dr. Maria Boretti Benedicta. Can you imagine? And then I'm the one appearing. Yeah, but that's what happened to us. I had to change that name. I gave myself the name. Khanyisile, the one who has black light, said meaning, I don't know what Maria Goretti is. I think Goretti is the same name in Italian. Now, see, for you to put on Islam, you have to unclothe your African. The God of Islam does not speak to Uyu or Hindi or Ekang or Zulu, they speak up. The God of Christianity spoke French, English, and Portuguese and Spanish when they colonized. Oh, now the Protestants, the Protestants are now learning Yiddish, but they call it Hebrew of Israel. That's it. Now they're going Jehovah Alpha, Jehovah Nisi. Now they're speaking things they don't even understand because that God doesn't understand the language. Now, if we don't put these things on the table and say, how is the religion continuing to keep us apart? There wars that were fought in Europe, championed by France, funded by the Catholic Church. How Mary, Queen of Scots, was crucified. Huh? Because one was Catholic, one was Protestant. Hey, the one person is a black. I don't want to keep you too long. I think I'm going to leave this by saying we need to put the 1% on the table and lay it there. And along with the 1%, we need to put imperialism on the table, capitalism. That system is unsustainable. It's unsustainable. You can have a family that can fly every Friday to a different continent, but you have a family in the same country that's studying in a couple. Now that's bullshit. I don't know what to do. If we want to be respectful, maybe we call it cow dung. I mean, so along with that 1%, we put imperialism, we put capitalism, we put it on the table. We put whiteness and blackness. How did we even come to internalize these things? I've never met a white person. You guys are more. I've never met a black person. We are more brown than black. They invent these terms and give them to us, and we run with them. Globalization, that's just another form of throw globalization out of it. It just gives capital access to more markets without limit. It's just escalated capitalism. So we need to put those things on the table, sister. I know it's good to have the comments because also this message is so hard hitting. We need to laugh, we need to clap, we need to sing. But along with it going forward, we need to put the table and say, who are you actually? Because no human being can champion the things that this one can do. Who in their right mind crucifies a woman upside down and bends them from head up? They are not a human being. I don't know where they came from, but I know they're not human. I don't know about you. Yeah. Now, we are going to unmask this going forward, build our unity, know that for us to remark, we all need to go to the top. It's not just indigenous. And if in that time we must approach, it's also indigenous in your own country. You're also the who's indigenous and who's not indigenous. You are indigenous, that's why I said don't go to this market because you are indigenous. There's people who are indigenous where they are. I don't know how they did English, but it's another matter for another day. They are indigenous where they are. So we all need to go to the spot. That's why I said hold your wounds. And I will ask the men to please hold their heads. Because for the men, they got you first. And they made you believe you can come back home after you work an 8-hour day with the same woman that you trained in love, sickness, and death. And then you want to sit and lift your foot on the table. And she must hold 2 jobs and the other is unpaid. Like, human beings believe this rubbish. We are all gullible in one way or the other. So the last thing I want to leave with you is know what your is and deal with it. Because we have all been told by the one person I detest them, but I hate them. Rothschild that leave you, those who have emailed, no, this is my email. The founder of the Rothschild House, one of the people who funded the Rothschild House, said in 17 something, give me control of a nation's money. You hear he's not saying the bank or the whatever. He says money. He says, give me control of a nation's money. And I cannot do it. 100 years later, his children, now the dynasty was built, come and complete it. I can't quote it verbatim. But in essence, that quotation, when they finish it off, it says they will create a middle class that will be so hooked to the system that you can't expect any revenue from that class. And the working class, the struggling people, they will be buffered by this middle class. They will keep looking at the middle class and thinking, if I work much harder, if I keep 2 jobs, if I work, I'll get to this stage. So another thing we need to blast in head is the concept of the middle class, especially for you Africans. African middle class is always 3 paychecks that we need for. If you are not paid for 3 months, you lose your current, you lose your house. So what is middle class? How down? I think we leave it here. I think the ancestors wanted to end here. So in African spirituality, when you do this, you're clapping to the person. And you know, I like English. Pride does go before a fall. Now, but when we do this, we are clapping to the owners of the knowledge, the ancestors. So can we do it the right way and not give me pride that I'm scared of because they're not. So can we do it the proper way? To the ancestors, not to me.